Chapter 2. Listening and Decoding. Objective: to introduce the students to new aspects of listening and decoding. To educate students to listen to and decode poetry and TED Talks. Black Circle to open new vistas of knowledge of life and philosophy for the students. In the previous editions of Envision, you have been introduced to listening skills with respect to conversations, interviews, and persuasive speeches. You were given excerpts from conversations, interviews of eminent personalities, and audio and video version of speeches, which had enlightened you. In this edition, you will be given some classic gems of poetry from Western and Indian literature. Several reading and listening sessions will enable you to understand the nuances of these skills. Especially, the poems and the TED Talks give you a refreshing mix of literature and life. Decoding is another skill which will make you understand and perceive the subtle aspects of these literary pieces. Pay attention to different elements of poetry like figures of speech, alliteration, structure, etc. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Approach to the text. Robert Frost. Which life do you like the most, village life or city life? Why? Do you agree with the statement, poems begin in delight and end in wisdom? Have you ever been caught in a conflict, in the matter of making choice? A note on the poet. Robert Frost, 1874 to 1963, an American poet, was born in San Francisco. Frost spent his early days in Massachusetts. He studied at Harvard and Dartmouth. His first collection of poems, Boy's Will, was published in England in 1913. In 1915, he returned to America as a recognized poet. In course of time, he became the voice of New England, and won several awards for his poetry. Most of his poems are narratives. He was a poet who believed in the old ways of being new. His pastoral form conveys a variety of ideas and attitudes. Frost uses natural scenes as the backdrop against which the human drama is played out. His style is colloquial in tone, and he is called the Wordsworth of America. For Frost, poetry begins in delight and ends in wisdom. About the poem. The horse rider in the poem first looks at the woods as an aspect of nature and admires its beauty. The poem expresses the conflicts between temptation and the social obligation of the speaker. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near between the woods and frozen lake the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. Glossary. Harness. The leather bands held together by metal which are used to control a horse or fasten it to a cart. Downy, covered with feathers. Flake, light fleecy piece of snow. Snowware, a symbol of beauty. Woods, here a complex symbol. It symbolizes both sensuous enjoyment and the mysterious attraction of death. Sleep here, reward for day's work, but ultimately death. Sweet movement. Queer, strange. Miles to go, discharge many duties. Promises, responsibilities, commitments. Comprehension. Answer the following questions in a page each. 1. How are the narrator, the owner and the horse contrasted with one another? 2. What is the allegorical significance of the woods and sleep? 3. What does the writer do in the poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening? 4. What symbols are used by Frost? 5. Discuss the theme of the poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. 6. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening contrasts the world of beauty with the world of human obligation. Discuss. 7. How does the poet bring out the quietude in the atmosphere in the poem? 8. Explain the lines, "Miles to go before I sleep," in the context of the poem.